the guys in the UFC, especially nowadays, that new breed are just so much bigger. I think the heavyweights that were in Strikeforce were pretty much kind of Cormier size. The only guy was the giant, Silva. Yeah, he's like he's bigger than like everybody. But I mean, Stipe, when I stand next to Stipe, it's like, this is a giant, man. He's like 6'3". He walks around look at his frame. He's just big and he's fast. He's got great boxing, good head movement. When you got back and watched him fight Francis, his head movement was on point. That's what won him that fight, I think. His head movement was great. So I'm going for Stipe.
I got Stipe. I think his stand-up, I think they're not respecting his grappling. Like, I wrestle with him. I'm not saying he's an Olympic level, but you don't have to move like an Olympian to wrestle. I'm not an Olympian. You just have to know how to really do a double leg and sprawl. It's not that hard. I think he's very good at that, and I think he can win with that.
Actually, I'm giving it to Cormier. Like, for some reason, my initial everything is just to say Cormier is going to be able to out wrestle him, avoid a lot of the big shots on the outside, and not push forward too much. Stipe gets a lot of his best work done when guys overcommit. And I think if DC is smart, like he should be, he'll sit back. He'll let Stipe come to him, and then he'll be able to take him down from there.
That's going to be a great one, man. Really looking forward to that. Obviously, DC has done well at heavyweight, but I've been saying this for a while, and people didn't want to listen. People said that Stipe was, just a guy who was going to win the title and lose it, but I don't see anybody beating him for a while. That's really what I think. He's looked amazing. He's well-rounded. He's got amazing wrestling. Very good stand-up. He's strong. I think he's a size too big for DC. I don't think DC is going to be able to take him down, and I think Stipe is going to win the striking battle. Stipe. Or Stipe is going to win the striking battle. Sorry, Stipe is going to win that. Yeah, DC won't be able to take him down, and Stipe is going to win the striking. That's how I see it going, and Stipe is going to win. For sure.
He's going to do what DC does, man. He's going to wrestle him up, box him up, pressure him, all that stuff. He's undefeated at heavyweight there, and even at light heavyweight, it's questionable. But I think he matches up nicely in terms of his skill set. It's something Stipe hasn't faced before. Someone who can out wrestle him, someone who can pressure him. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds to that. But I do think DC is the GOAT for a reason.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. We all know where that's going to go. I mean, I'm a fan of DC. I love his style. I love what he stands for. I like everything about DC. But Stipe is just a different motherfucker, man. He's just different, and he's very special, man. And like being around him when I was in Vegas was extremely motivating for me. Just even seeing how far away his fight was and seeing how hard he works is I have this saying with Jim, and it's always just be more like Stipe. So sometimes I get a big mouth, and I got to remind myself it's not always about talking. It's not. You want people to feel what you feel inside sometimes, and how you look at things. That you want them to feel it too, so they can understand where you're coming from. And just the more I look at Stipe, the more it doesn't really matter. It's really about what you do when you show up. So obviously, like you said, I'm super biased, but I think Stipe's he's much bigger. He's just as fast. He's much stronger, way more power. He's way good enough of a wrestler to defend DC's clinch stuff. I think it's just a really tall task for DC. So I'm going to go with Stipe by knockout.
Man, I like both those guys, man. Man, that would have been a fun season to be on the Ultimate Fighter with, because they seem like they're really two good coaches. But, man, I think Stipe is just too big for him, honestly. I think he's athletic, and he's not like he's a slow heavyweight. They're both athletic. They're both fast, and I think just Stipe is just going to be way too big for him.
Man, I can't bet against Stipe anymore, I bet against him when he fought Ngannou, and I was definitely wrong there. And, but DC is undefeated at heavyweight. And he just looks phenomenal in every fight, unless he's fighting John. But I'm just gonna give it. I'm gonna have to give it to to Stipe, man, just because he's just been unstoppable lately. I mean, he's knocked out Overeem, and he knocked out Dos Santos, and then he knocked out Verdum, and then he freaking just dismantled Francis. And, I mean, it's hard to pick against that guy, especially in his own weight class. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be a great fight. So I'm excited about that, man. But I'm going to have to pick Stipe on that one.
Man, I haven't even thought about this fight yet. I like Daniel Cormier a lot, and his takedowns are insane. I think if he can get the takedown, he can definitely beat Stipe. I think Daniel Cormier can win that fight.
I'm going to go with Miocic, because he's also a good wrestler. I know Cormier is an Olympic-level wrestler, but Miocic is just a bigger guy. So I feel like if he can stuff those takedowns, he hits harder. And, I would still give him the edge on the feet.
I'm going with DC, man. I think Stipe is good, but, he's been rocked before. I think that Daniel's DC's wrestling was just on another level. So I think he'll find a way to get attached and, just be on top of him. And it's going to be hard for Stipe to get up.
I'm going to go DC. Weirdly enough, I'm going to go DC. This DC is just different. And I know why people give him shit. He's cool. I haven't met him yet, but he's cool. I've talked to him in the past. Miocic's just a big, fucking hard-nosed, working kind of guy. Like he gets his shit done, like you see in the last fight with Ngannou. I say DC. I just feel, I don't know. Something just said to me, DC. So I go DC in that fight. And he's also, you see him at Strikeforce running through the heavyweight stand, and he works with heavyweights all the time. He's a heavyweight himself, so he's not new to handling heavyweights. I say DC.
Damn, man, I feel like every one of these are a tough one, man. Shit. Okay, well, we know DC has competed and won in the Strikeforce heavyweight Grand Prix. He can compete at heavyweight. Stipe is another beast, though, man. Stipe is a wrestler with punching power, and he's a big, big man. He's John Jones with 25 more pounds of muscle. So DC's going to have his hands full in that one. But with that said, I'm going to stick with my Lafayette, Louisiana hometown native, Daniel, not the Diamond, Daniel, DC, whatever your name is, Cormier. Yeah, I'm going with him.
The main event, the super fight, the light heavyweight champion versus the heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier. That is an easy pick for me. I got to go with the champ. I got to go with Daniel Cormier. I think that him being a heavyweight is going to benefit him a lot. He was undefeated at heavyweight. And, Daniel's always had quite a gas tank. He's always been able to push a hard pace. And I think taking the weight cut out of the equation and him being able to go back to heavyweight for the first time since 2012 was the last time he fought? I think that he's grown a lot since then. I think he's going to make him a better fighter. I having to worry about that weight cut. Because I know I've heard numbers of what Daniel's cut on fight week, and it's pretty crazy. So I think that this is going to benefit him a lot, and I see Daniel getting his hand raised.
Gosh, that's a war, man. After seeing what DC was able to do to Josh Barnett and stuff, it's kind of hard to bet against him. But Stipe just has that mentality right now. Going into the Ngannou fight, no one was picking him, obviously, because the hype train was on Ngannou for some reason. I'm picking Stipe, but it's not one of those fights I'd bet on.
I love both guys, but, I'm going to have to go with Stipe in that one. I feel like people always count him out. And he's proven, he's one of the best, if not the best heavyweight that, the UFC may have ever had. But I think, and don't get me wrong, Daniel has fought heavyweights, prestigious heavyweights in the past and done just fine. He used to compete in the heavyweight division. But I think if Stipe can use, just his length, his size, not so much his power, because I think Daniel can compete with him in explosiveness and power. But if Stipe can just keep that range, keep that distance, and keep him at bay, I think that that Stipe can win this fight. But if Daniel goes in there and turns it into an ugly fight, how he does, then I could easily see it going his way.
I think Cormier, I honestly like Cormier in that fight stylistically.
The one thing, that's a concern for me is Cormier is, he is 40 years old, I don't know, man. I really don't know who I would have to see the odds to see who I would place my bet on, If one of them is a big underdog versus the other one, I'll take the chance because I think it's a close fight.